I often get asked which is harder to fly, a helicopter or an airplane, and I've never been able to answer that question for myself until today. The airplane we're flying today is a very small Cessna 150. Never been in this aircraft before, but we're gonna go out, do some stalls, just figure out how to control this thing and do a couple landings too. So come check it out, guys.
Once we get on the runway, feel free to add a little bit more power. You get a little bit of speed so you can feel what it's like. You don't have to go super fast, but at least you get a feel for what it's like with a little bit of speed in those rudders. When we're moving slow like this, it's just the nose wheel that's really doing stuff for us. As we start to gain airspeed, the rudder starts to begin to help out with that, and then we get a little bit more effectiveness that you're going to need less input as we get faster.
I just add power here.
A little bit of power there. Looking at the very end of the runway, as you add power, airplanes have left turning tendencies, so it's going to cause everything to turn to the left. So when you add power, anticipate that with just a little bit of right rudder. Looking at the very end of the runway there, pull that power to idle and just let this coast. On that center line, a little bit of rudder there, good, very nice. Helicopter pilots usually have a pretty good time with the rudders because your feet are attached to your body and they work, unlike fixed wing pilots. They like to do a lot of things with their hands. And you got 2 feet down there, you gonna use them?
They're very interesting. They're, I don't know, a lot less sensitive than the helicopter, but I feel like you need, it almost feels like loose, and then you need a lot more pressure as you go there in.
So a little bit of brake, both pressure nice and even there, and then we'll turn off the side there. Let's keep that turn coming, and then we'll make another turn to the right there. There you go. Now you can start that turn to the right.
Traffic 2836.
So, that's the traffic, so it's not 26 here. It's going to be departing runway 04. We'll be climbing 7,000 to the north. I think they're holding short down there for us. Okay, so you can go ahead and roll out there. We'll find the center line, get lined up. Once you're lined up on the center line, you'll add full power. Looking at the very end of the runway, just using your feet to keep us straight. Then you can take your left hand and put it on the yoke, and once you see 50, you can just gently start a little bit of a back pressure there. Hand on the yoke there, and when you're ready, full power. Keep going. There you go. Okay, power's full. We got engine gauges are all in the green there. Looking at the very end of the runway. Your airspeed's alive. A little bit of right rudder there for me. Gently start to pull back on that yoke. There you go. Very nice. How's all you?
Wow, we're here.
We're doing it. Now your airspeed's climbing, so you're at 70 right there. You can lower the nose just a smidge to catch up to 70 again. What do you think?
That's pretty cool. Not too bad. We had a trim.
Feel like you gotta push or pull?
Oh, I just feel like my nose is weird.
Oh, so rudder's gonna correct your nose for you, right? And then ailerons, obviously left and right. Keep that hand on the throttle for me. You'll get used to flying one-handed. Pretty much just keep us flying straight for just a minute.
Okay.
Everything's looking really good. 70. So if I raise the nose for you, look good.
This is so different. See anything, bro?
I know. You don't have those big bubble windows. So with rudder, where we got that nose high, we talked a little bit about that left turning tendency on the ground. You're gonna need a little bit of right rudder as we climb. Just a smidge, not too much. That's probably good right there.
Are you looking here?
Exactly.
Okay.
You want that ball right in the middle, yep, and step on the ball.
This is sweet.
A little different, huh?
Definitely, very different.
So we're just climbing to get some altitude for a minute, and then once we get up to altitude, I'm pretty much just gonna let you fly however you want to. Play around, mess around, get yourself in a... See if you can figure out how to get out of it or whatever, I don't care.
You want me to stall us?
Yeah, sure, go for it.
I don't want to kill us today. I kind of do want to try to stall, it'd be fun.
We're planning on we'll do a power off stall today so you can see what it feels like. Super mellow. It's a lot mellower than everybody thinks. They're like, oh, you stall, right? But you'll be like, wow, that was kind of anticlimactic.
As I make a left-hand turn, do I need to pitch the nose back a little bit?
Yep, so as you roll into that turn, the plane will, like if you just roll into the turn and leave it, the nose will eventually start to dive away from us. So a little bit of back pressure because we're losing our vertical lift, right?
So, yeah.
Everything with the stall is pretty much pitch based. Power off stall, there's a little bit of a procedure to it. What we're demonstrating with the power off stall is an approach to landing stall. Every procedure is full power, forward pressure, and 10 degrees of flaps come up right away. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the airplane set up. So I'm gonna pull the power all the way to idle, just nice and smooth here. As I pull the airplane to idle, I need back pressure, right? The nose is gonna naturally drop. So I'm gonna raise the nose to try and maintain altitude. I maintain altitude, I'm gonna lose airspeed. Flaps are gonna go all the way to 30, so you'll see that indicator come down to 30. There it is. I'm gonna keep my hand on the throttle. I'm looking outside the airplane. Gotta get back to my heading of 330 there. My stall warning horn. I'm gonna raise the nose ever so slightly.
That is screaming at you, dude.
There's my stall, full power, lower the nose, 10 degrees of flaps come up.
That was a fast recovery.
Not too bad, right?
Yeah, I didn't even feel it.
Yeah, a little bit of kind of rumble almost. That's the buffet. Then we slowly decrease our flaps as we gain airspeed, get some altitude back.
Yeah.
Hold that nose up with some back pressure. Gently gonna raise that nose. There's my stall warning horn. There's the stall. I'm gonna raise the nose again. There's a stall again. You can feel that stall, right?
Yeah.
Now the airplane's kind of in a turn because I've got the ailerons in there, but this really slow.
Yeah, it's crazy slow.
Pressure, power, 10 degrees of flaps. Get my heading back there.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, not too bad, right? So you felt that rumble, that's the buffet. Stalling. A perfect landing is where you stall. The smallest measurement you could ever come up with would be you'd stall 1 inch above the ground, right? That would be a perfect landing. Means the airplane's given up and finally saying, okay, done, and then you just happen to be at the ground there. There, you got the controls there. So, what you're gonna do is take some power, pull it all the way back to idle. As you pull that power back, you'll need a little bit of back pressure to raise the nose. Our heading's 150, so just keep an eye on that. We're pretty much looking outside the airplane the whole time. That way you can see if the nose is drifting left or right. 30 degrees of flaps, you go ahead and increase that. Just go ahead and push down there. That's also gonna kind of nose a little bit for us, which is nice. There's 30. Hand on the throttle for me, looking outside the airplane. Raise that nose just ever so slightly, just like we were rotating. Keep coming back, keep coming. A little more. Very good. 10 degrees of flaps. Now we're checking our altitude that we're not descending anymore. Airspeed, we're better, right? We're back up at 70. Now you can bring the flaps all the way up. The nose in our seat's aggressive, right? Nice, smooth, deliberate pressure is what I like to call it.
Yeah, it makes me a little nervous because that's just like so forbidden.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Devin was saying. Because in the tail wheel, when we take off, we have to add forward pressure. Tail wheel has a lot of forward pressure movements.
Oh yeah.
It's just so backwards for me because we're not supposed to do that. So, alrighty, let's do one more. So we'll get back up to 7.5 there, and then I'll walk you through it again.
Yeah. Bring the nose back so we could climb a little bit.
Yeah.
It's crazy how you could just like hand off of everything too.
I know. You guys are always locked onto your controls.
Yeah.
No time for texting, huh? Looking outside the airplane, 30 degrees of flaps. Hand on your throttle again there. Just start raising the nose. Verbalize, there's your stall a little more. There it is. Forward pressure, good, full power. And just 10 degrees up, there you go. Very nice. Verify the airspeed's back and we're not descending anymore.
Yeah, it's back to 70. VSI is good.
You can bring those flaps all the way up. Very good. And we'll just let the airplane descend for a little bit.
About where we want it?
Yep.
Okay.
Good.
That's just so
take your hands off. Yeah, they're trimmed out. You don't have to worry about anything. That's the beauty of flying airplanes is you just get to sit back and let the airplane do all the work for you.
Crazy.
44?
I like the 44, yeah.
You really?
Yeah.
A little more nimble or fun, or what's the reason behind that?
More nimble, like quick. I don't know. I feel like I have more. It feels more like attached to my body, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
It responds better to what I want it to do.
I feel that about this airplane compared to the 172.
Yeah.
Flown a 66?
I haven't. Yeah, I've flown a Bell 505, but.
Okay, so that's a little bit bigger.
Kind of similar, yeah. It was the first turbine I flew in. It was so fun, dude.
Oh, I'm sure. That I did their helicopter transitions for both of them flew Blackhawks in the military. Like, that thing's just stupid to fly. You just set the power and fly it like a video game. Kind of sounds fun.
We want to come in on the right base for...
Kind of for 4.
Okay.
Kind of favoring 4, I think, today. Traffic, Cessna 260 is 2.5 to the northwest, descending out of Pattern Works. I'll walk you through what needs to happen where.
Okay.
What a pattern is.
How high are we supposed to be for like stuff?
So 5-7 is where we want to be in the pattern, and then once we get established on the downwind here, beam the numbers is where we're going to start our descent. So you'll pull power back, you'll reintroduce power to catch your altitude at 5-7. Numbers, we will pull power back to 2,000 again to start a descent. Carb heat will come on and 10 degrees of flaps.
Okay.
And then you'll just kind of airplane descend. 80 miles an hour is what we're pitching for on the descent. Traffic 26 Sierra is left downwind 04. Anticipate that altitude, so about 50 feet or so above 5-7, you can reintroduce a little bit of power there.
10 miles to the west of the field, 6,500, 70445 for runway 35.
Actually timed that pretty good, so you probably don't even need to add any power. So just leave that power where it's at. Carb heat will come on, and then 10 degrees of flaps.
Mid left downwind, runway 35, Logan traffic.
So now that you got that set up, we're just looking at our VSI. We're going to continue that airplane or that descent, right? About 300 feet per leg is a general idea of where you should be at.
Okay.
So before you turn base, obviously we're looking for the 45, but 300 feet is a good shoot for. That way you can 300 on each leg, that adds up to 900, and then you've got 50 feet in each turn. So
okay, about 5-4 is when I'll make this turn.
Exactly, yep. Looking over the shoulder, we're a little bit past that, so you can probably turn a little early, and then you're going to go 20 degrees of flaps, so you'll add another 10 degrees in. And keep your hand on that throttle. I want you to manipulate that. Pull that back just a little bit, lower the nose. We're pitching for 70 now. Good. Once we're on final, you're looking for 65 on the airspeed, which you're pretty much there. Go 1,500 RPMs, and then 30 degrees of flaps, and then the carb heat can go off. Now here we're using pitch for our airspeed, so lower the nose just a little bit for me, add just a smidge of power. Good. There's your glide slope, so add a little bit more power for me. Good, there you go. Lower, it's really backwards, you're gonna have to lower the nose for speed, but then add power for altitude, so a little more power, go for it. Just a little bit for me, there you go. Good. Okay, it's coming in just like this. You can start to work that power out a little bit. Give you a little bit of forward trim. Okay, made the runway, power goes idle. Keep your hand on that throttle for me. Just coming in just like this. Start to raise that nose like that stall. Back a little more. Very nice. I got your flaps for you.
Yeah.
Full power. And there's 50. Go ahead and rotate. A little bit of back pressure there. Very nice. A little bit of aileron to the left there. Good. Pitching for 70. Round out to touchdown was awesome.
Yeah.
Got a little slow and a little low.
Yeah, definitely.
Just anticipate that, right? Watch your airspeed using pitch to control for that.
Yeah.
And then power is going to control our altitude. So if you add, that's going to cause a climb for us. Okay. Just keep that in mind as we're coming in on this next one. 5-7 again.
The traffic 34 Charlie Alpha turning final, runway 35, full stop. Traffic, you're turning west base. We are
What's up?
The guys are up there in Billings for a check ride.
Yeah, they're bad?
No, the weather's fine, but the ILS and the VOR approach are out of service in Billings, so they had to go to Cody,
Oh, shoot.
which is 85 miles south. At least it's on the way home, but
That sucks. It's like it's very stiff.
in the pattern.
yeah, airplane's got some stiff ailerons in it, but it actually is, I prefer it over the 172 is really sloppy on the controls, so.
The hydraulics on for the drums, or?
Nope, it's just pulleys and cables. Okay. Raise that nose a little bit more for 70.
No worries.
Here's 04. We're a little low, but that's okay. Pull that power back to 2,000 RPMs. There you go. Carb heat comes on, and 10 degrees of flaps. Very nice. Now you're a little low, so anticipate that we want to look for the 45 now. So there's about your 45, so you can start that turn. Power can come back a little bit more. Let's go 1,700 RPMs. Rest at 26 Sierra, left base, 04. And 20 degrees of flaps.
By 3 Deltas, 10 to the northwest. We're through 6,800 inbound Logan.
Start that turn, 30 degrees of flaps. For 65, I want you to really focus on holding that 65. Power's pretty idle right now, so you don't really need to mess around with too much of that, and we're high. So just pitch for that 65, so raise that nose up a little bit for me. Good. Anticipate a red light on that pappy. Little bit of power there. Go ahead and add some. A little more. Lower that nose. Good. A little more power. Lower that nose for me. A little bit of a cross on Cape. Comes to idle. Let the nose come down just like that. Good. Start that round out. Start coming back. A little more. Good. Hold that nose back for me. Full power. Looking at the very end of the runway. pressure, very nice.
Pitching for 70.
Yep.
1.5 mile 45.
That approach looked much better. We were a little high on that one, which is fine. I'd rather be high than low, especially in this airplane. This airplane, you'll come to learn that just drops like a rock. So you can stay a little higher on an approach in this airplane, and it won't really screw you up in terms of the landing. So
Super interesting, like the idle, right?
yeah,
Crazy.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm like,
say. All right, we'll do one more, and then we'll grab some fuel and call it a day.
cool, man. Yeah, I was like, all right, I trust you. Yeah, we just don't manipulate our RPMs at all.
Zero tank is here. You have
Yeah, you gotta kind of forget it.
Yeah, we just have a governor that keeps it in a green range, and we don't touch it really.
That's kind of nice.
Charlie.
Don't really have to worry about it.
Yeah, just we want those blades spinning the same RPMs the entire flight. So,
Okay. You're just manipulating the pitch of those blades to give yourself a turn, or it's all controls. That's why you helicopter pilots are so good at tailwheel, because you got gyroscopic precession that you understand. People have a really hard time understanding that in the fixed wing world.
Oh yeah, like every single part of our aircraft, we have to think about that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That climb speed.
All right, so we're gonna bring it down to 20.
Pitching for 80 here. We're looking for 80 on downwind, 70 on base, and then 65 on final. Okay, this one's gonna be a little tighter because we're just staying a little close. Let's pull that power back just a little bit more. There you go.
90.
You're almost just gonna do a U-turn here. You can go 20 degrees of flaps. Flaps will kind of help us turn a little bit more. Lower that nose just a smidge so we don't get too slow. Good. And then 30 degrees of flaps. Good, so we overshot a little bit. That's totally fine. Just gently bring that airplane back. Don't try and force it back over. Get lined up and then scooch over.
Yeah.
Crank it over, you get cross-controlled, and we get a bad scenario on that. Carb goes off and add a little bit of power there. 65 is looking really good on this one, I like it. A little bit of a crosswind, so we're flying in a little crooked. That's just how we want it. When we come down, we're gonna correct with rudder. So a little bit of right rudder and a little bit of left aileron.
Okay.
Help you with that, but same thing, just worry about bringing that nose up nice and gentle. Good, we made the runway, power goes to idle. Let that airplane sink there. Gently start to bring that nose up. Looking at the very end of the runway now. Keep coming back. More. Very nice. That's 99% you. Keep that power idle. Looking at the very end of the runway there. Nice and gentle on both those brakes. Good. Very nice.
Interesting.
Yeah. Also pretty tough is trying to gauge what even pressure is on the brakes sometimes.
Yeah.
We'll just kind of unroll in there, and then we'll hop off the runway and go down the shutdown checklist and everything.
Put my hand on it. What is this, a yoke?
Yoke, yep.
Put my hand on that. I was like, just steer.
Yeah, I know. That's the funniest thing on day one with like new, like never flown before pilots. We'll start going off the side of the runway, and they're like, or you're like, he's gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll hook up with that yellow taxiway line. Nice and easy on those brakes. Very nice. And then we're gonna break off the taxiway line, and we're just gonna follow the fence, and we'll go park right in front of the back to idle there. Nice. Right there's perfect. Bingo. Okay, and we're there. You can go ahead and pull that checklist out again.
Airplanes are easier to fly.